Hi, this is Raj from MR Sportscars. Here I've got a 2008, August 2008 Porsche 911 Carrera. It's a 997 Gen 2. It's one of the first that was made. I suspect it was actually in the dealership as a car to show people. The chassis number is very low, 617 worldwide. It's finished in Arctic Silver Metallic. And it has, I think you've probably already clocked them. It has yellow calipers, which obviously the standard steel calipers could be spec'd with in yellow as an option, but this one has carbon ceramic brakes. Very, very special option. Quite a rare option, I think, as well, on a Carrera 3.6, Carrera 2. So this is rear-wheel drive. It's also fitted with tyre pressure monitoring, so that's those metal valves there. The optional 19-inch wheels are the Carrera Classics, 5-spoke lightweight alloy wheels. They've been refurbished recently in a BBS metallic silver, so it's got a lot more metallic flex in it compared to what they come from the factory, which is Arctic Silver, which would basically match the paintwork on this car. So they look great, with new centre caps as well. And they just look stunning with that yellow caliper. They're absolutely huge brakes. Now these are the actual original discs, so these haven't had to be replaced. This car's covered 55,000 miles. It hasn't needed new discs or pads. These haven't been damaged. They haven't got wear on them at all. You can see the pads have got plenty of life left in them. I'd say at least 50%, only 50% worn. So these are supposed to, with road use, which this car has been purely road used, and I know that because I've had the car. I've got PSE, so I've plugged it into the diagnostics. It hasn't been over revved even in range 1, which is very unusual because this is one of the rare manual gearbox cars. So it's very easy to over rev these cars. Just hit the red line and it registers range 1. If you miss a gear, it could potentially be 4, 5 or 6, range 3, 4, 5 or 6. This hasn't even got a single ignition, spark plug ignition in range 1. So I would say this hasn't been tracked at all. So those carbon ceramic brakes should be good for the life of the car with road use. You might need to change the pads, but probably in another 50,000 miles or so. Now you can tell it's a Gen 2 because it has the pointed rear lights, the slightly restyled rear bumper, and then if you look at the engine bay, it has the direct fuel injection engine. So these were introduced in 997 Gen 2s, and these sort of eradicated all of the issues with 997 Gen 1s, including bore scoring, which is quite hard to detect unless you put a camera down the cylinders. IMS bearing failures, and also RMS oil seal leaks as well. So none of that stuff is an issue on these 997 Gen 2s, which is why I don't sell the earlier cars anymore. I just sell these 997 Gen 2s because basically you don't have sleepless nights worrying that there's something majorly wrong with them. They're pretty much bulletproof. Now, as I said, this is a rare manual. I think around 80% of the Gen 2 997s was spec'd with the PDK 7-speed auto, which is phenomenal. But for those that just want this as their weekend fun car, I think a lot of them want a manual gearbox. This is the 6-speed Getrag gearbox. It's also been fitted with the short shifter kit, so the throw is very, very short and very precise. It makes it a great car to drive. Now, as I said, it's got tyre pressure monitoring, so it has a little live display there, and you can sort of rotate what you see there, but because it's got tyre pressure monitoring, it also shows you that, and you can have that in PSI rather than bar, which has been set in. As I said, 55,862 miles, 4 previous owners. I actually sold this to the last owner back in 2018. He's now bought a 991 Carrera T, and he asked me if I wanted this back, and I, without hesitation, said I would love this car back because it's such a unique spec, with those carbon ceramic brakes, manual gearbox. It was also, Carreras didn't come as standard with PASM. This one was spec with PASM from the factory, and also it didn't come with the Porsche switchable sports exhaust from the factory either, but the last owner had that fitted. He had it supplied by Porsche Tunbridge, and then he had a specialist workshop fit that for him. So that's another nice addition. It's obviously got heated seats, which are another option, and obviously it's the extended black leather interior, which in the UK was the standard option. It has the comfort seats, which are a two-way electric, so it's just the seat back which is electric, the rest is manual. So the seat height is this handle here, and then pulling it back and forth, the whole seat back and forth, is that handle there. They do actually, you can get them to sit quite low but also quite high, and also the steering wheel is fully adjustable, so it even comes out, there we go, as well as up and down. It has the optional rain sensor and auto dimming rear view mirror, and consequently it also has auto dimming side rear wing mirrors as well. So they were an option as a combination. It has BOSE, so that's a 13 speaker 385 watt system in these cars. So there's the BOSE subwoofer there, and it has the universal audio interface, so it has those wired connections for playing music. You can also hook up a Bluetooth module through there, a Bluetooth aftermarket module to stream music and also do the phone. It has satnav as well, so that's that system there, and obviously a CD and DVD player as well as FM AM. Now the Carreras came with a different colour trim to the Carrera, the S model, so they had more of a darker grey trim all along the dashboard, also here. This would have been a lighter silver, much more like this silver if this was an S model. So that was one sort of subtle difference between the Carrera S models and the straight Carrera 3.6s. I'll show you the front boot. Oh, let me just check what other options there are. So I put together a sheet which shows this has 4 previous owners, and it was registered August 2018. It was registered August 2008. So as I said, I think it was owned for 6 months by Porsche to sit in their showroom while people were ordering their 997 Gen 2s. So spec wise, as I said, Arctic silver, black extended leather. Other things to note are the short shift mechanism, switchable sports exhaust, bi-xenon headlights, seat heating, the comfort seats, the Carrera Classic wheels, rear wiper is also an option that was fitted, and then the PCCBs, carbon ceramic brakes. It has the triangular centered sports steering wheel, PASM, the 6-speed gearbox, tyre pressure monitoring, and then it has air conditioning with climate control, which is standard in the UK as well. Bi-xenon headlights, which I've already mentioned, and then the LED daylight running lights, which were standard on all 997 Gen 2s. And then the rear parking sensors were also spec'd on this car, as well as BOSE and PCM with the satnav and the universal audio interface. And then I have a sheet which shows all of the standard equipment as well as the optional equipment in one sheet, and then the diagnostics there, so 0 over revs, and also I check for engine hours to see if the car has been clocked at all, and also check that the ECU is still reading, that it's still showing the correct engine number, colour and VIN number, and then the history is all replicated there as well. So yeah, all of that stuff is in there. Then there's invoices for the car, as well as obviously the stamped service book, 2 original keys. I'll just show you in there, everything's original. It's in great condition, this car. And there is the front boot, lots of storage in there, and then all the original tools are behind this panel here. So you have a locking wheel bolt. You can top up the tyres with the 12-volt system with this electric tyre pump. And then these cars don't have a spare, so you have the tyre gel there, set of tools, towing eye. The tools have a spanner and a Phillips and a flathead screwdriver, as well as a headlight adjustment tool as well, because the headlights are self-adjusting. So if they drift out, an MOT station can use that tool to readjust them to the correct position. So it's very easy and straightforward. And there is the battery. So it's a decent 80 amp hour battery, which is what you need to start these large engine cars. So this car has 345 horsepower from memory, and it will do 60 in around 4.8 seconds with a manual gearbox. So that is plenty fast enough. As I said, it's rear wheel drive. It weighs just over 1.4 tons, so I think it's 1,415 kilos. The spec will determine exactly what the weight is, but that's what they quote for the 911 Carrera 2, which this is. There's the rear wiper. It also has a spoiler which comes up at around 70 miles an hour and goes down at 50. And it's just a really lovely car. Very unusual spec. I think it makes it a very interesting example. You often find that the cars that were spec'd by Porsche for their showroom do tend to have a few special options on them to try and, at the time, talk people into getting things like tyre pressure monitoring, getting things like the carbon ceramic brakes. So this car, I think, is an example of that. Now, if you're interested in this car, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Thanks for watching.